What's up, everybody? John Eric Poli here with My MMA News. And if you recall, a few months ago, I was talking with Dustin Jacoby after he got a win on the Dana White Contender Series. And at the end of that interview, Dustin said, "I'm going to be back to tell you guys about my first UFC win." Fast forward to now, that's what we're here for. Dustin got a win over Justin Ledet on this past Saturday at UFC Vegas 12. So let's welcome Dustin in here. Dustin, how you doing, my man? And hey, congrats on that first win.
Hey, John, what's up, buddy? Thanks for having me back. Yeah, like you said, I'd get back with you. We'd be talking about the victory, and here we are talking about the big victory. Thanks for having me, man.
Hey, no problem at all. It's always a pleasure to have you on here. So, yeah, I guess we'll start breaking down the fight here a little bit. So, for anyone that didn't see the fight, we'll do our best to break all of this down. The fight wasn't super long here. It was about 2.5 minutes long. You finished him in the first round there. So, let's start with these leg kicks that you were landing. It seemed like you were really hurting him, and that he even fell over one time too from a leg kick. Just how devastating do you think your leg kicks were, and how big of a factor was this in the fight?
Yeah, well, they certainly changed the course of the fight, and they were punishing, man. I strike to put your opponent down, and that's what they did. The game plan was to do just that, to go down low. I thought we'd be real successful with the low kicks, so that was definitely part of the game plan. And then, as my coach says, deposit checks in the bank. Go down low, and then come up high when he's least expecting it. So, but when they hit you, man, I have a lot of power with the leg kicks, and any of the bigger guys do, and anybody, quite frankly. You see the evolution of the calf kick and guys aiming a little bit lower. If a couple of those are thrown and they're not checked, man, it could be a bad night for you, and a quick night, because it's hard to walk around on that leg. And if you get your bone chipped, or, sometimes it's the knee that, an MCL or something gets sprained or thrown out, it's hard to fight on, man. So they definitely changed the course of the fight.
And then, Dustin, why don't you break down then the actual finish itself and the finishing sequence there as well?
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I kicked him. He goes down, and of course, I go into attack mode. I knew he was hurt. I saw it on his face that he was hurt. So I just went in for the kill. And again, I fought a smart fight. I fought a very patient fight. I fought a very methodical, precise fight, and I did exactly what I planned to do. So when we got going down, I knew I had just started getting going. I wanted him to get back to his feet. I knew once he was slowed on his leg, it was only a matter of time before I got a big knockout. And, that's what happened. He came up. I struck him right away with the right hand. I posted with my left, and I came with that uppercut that put him down. And quite frankly, I thought it was good enough for a bonus, man. But, hey, it's icing on the cake. I didn't get it. I can't be mad about it. I just got to move on and hopefully go search for one the next time.
Wait, there's going to be a lot of more opportunities for you. Hopefully you get one of those Fight of the Night bonuses here coming up in the future. And one of the things that we talked about the last time, too, is how highly successful of a kickboxer that you were. So you had a stint. I guess we'll back up and tell everybody this in case they didn't remember from our last interview. You were in the UFC, you had a few fights, you were cut from the roster. Then you went and you were a highly successful kickboxer. Now this is actually your second stint in the UFC now. So in that middle gap there in your kickboxing career, obviously, like we said, you were highly successful there. Do you feel that you have such a high advantage now on the feet, and that you would just showcase this, and that you've now put yourself on notice in the division that, hey, I'm a guy that can trade and bang with anybody, and that the rest of the light heavyweight division really needs to watch out for you?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I am 100,000% very thankful for my career with Glory and my kickboxing career in general. And every one of my fights outside of one has been with, Glory Kickboxing. So very thankful for the road I had to travel and the lessons I learned, and the warriors I got to compete against. And, it led me to here. And I truly believe I'm one of the best strikers in the division. And I am a devastating kickboxer, man. I mean, if I go down low and you're not checking the kicks, I've got the power and the precision to end the fight early. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter who you are, and myself included, man. If those kicks are not checked and they're utilized properly, they can end fights. And we're seeing that a lot more in today's MMA game. And I believe I'm one of the best, man. I can't wait to continue to go out there and show that.
So another thing too about your career too, your first stint in the UFC, the last time that we talked, you were saying how the moment was a little bit too big for you. You were a younger guy, and you're there around all these legends that so many people look up to, and now obviously you're a lot more mature, you're more advanced in your career, so now that you're a lot more ready for the moment now. But where I'm going with all of this, your first stint, like we said, things didn't really go your way. You didn't even, if I recall correctly, you didn't have a win, correct? Right? Correct. This was your first UFC
Yeah,
win.
correct.
So,
Correct. Yep.
so with this being your first UFC win, just take everybody through this moment because for you, I imagine it would have to be emotional, right? Your whole long career, you wanted to get back to the UFC, you finally did it, and you got your hand raised in your first fight since getting a contract back in the Contender Series. So just take everybody just what that moment was like for you personally, given all that you went through in your previous journey.
Yeah, man, it was super emotional. I just let it, it all just sank in. All of the hard work, all of the commitment, all of the dedication, and just, at the end of the day, I'm the guy that has went to battle all of these times, and I'm the one that has stood in that ring, and I'm the one that's went through the trenches and the practices and the blood, sweat, and tears to get to the point I am right now. I truly believe that. Physically, I've always been there. I've always been gifted. Mentally, man, it's so mental. And if you can get it up here, which I think I've got it, and I work on it daily. You have to work on it daily, man. This is life in general is so mental and such a grind. And I always say, perspective and attitude is everything, man. And I like to say I've been through it to get to it, and I've truly been through it, and for it to come to fruition that night, man, and all come together the way it did. I saw it happening like that all week long, which scared me even more because it's like, man, I still have to go out and do this. It's like it's already happened, but it hasn't. You have to go do it. So, um, yeah, dude, it's so hard to put into words, but I would tell people to just never give up, and if it's something you truly believe in, to just put your head down and grind, man, and keep working, and don't listen to what people have to say, good or bad. You have to keep your eyes on your prize and your own journey, man. You have to, the only person you answer to daily is yourself. If you can look into the mirror and know you're ready, like I did right before that fight, good things can happen, man.
That's great advice to everybody out there too. So listen to Dustin there. He's a great guy here. And Dustin, another thing too, I want to ask you, fight related from over the weekend was also in the moments following your first win, like you just said there, how emotional it was. But you and Michael Bisping shared a very good moment in the octagon there, where you were saying how much you looked up to him. So just tell everybody a little bit about that moment and about how much you look up to Michael Bisping.
Yeah, man, I certainly look up to a fighter like that. That's, my last UFC fight before this one was UFC on Fox 2. It was at the United Center in Chicago, Illinois, and Bisping lost to Chael Sonnen that night. So we competed on the card again. Here I am, my second UFC fight. I'm weighing in guys next to guys like Bisping, and I'm like, man, like, do I really belong here? In my second fight, I thought a little bit more I did, but now I do. I know I belong. That's a whole different story. But yeah, talking with Bisbee, man, it's just an inspiration to watch a guy that's just climb the ladder, and then he'd have his setbacks, and he'd go for it and have his setbacks, and to finally get what everybody ultimately is trying to get, which is that UFC title. Just that one time, man, is incredibly inspirational. I was so happy for him, and I rose again, with my time in glory, I climbed the ranks. I broke the top 10. I broke the top 5. I fought for a world title, and I was right there, and I lost a close decision that night. I was right there. And, that's my goal, man, to get in this UFC, to start cracking some rankings, the 15, the 10, and the right fight play out and the right timing. Timing is everything. And going there and get an opportunity to get that, man, would be a dream come true. And that's what Bisping did. And that's what I looked at, to seize that moment and to shoot for.
Well, I'm really glad that you actually just brought all that up there about how you want to climb into the rankings and eventually, get a chance to hold the UFC championship there. I know obviously you're one fight into your UFC stint here. Just kind of, tell everybody, where do you go from here? Like, what do you want next? And do you see a special, maybe a roadmap that you have in your mind of how you're going to get there?
I need to. I really do need to sit down, because if you look at the game today, you can be there in less than a year, man. You can be there in 4 fights if you methodically and plan your route, and you go in and you do what you're supposed to do, and you take care of business like I did last Saturday night. You can be there quick, man. So I do need to sit down with my team, my coaches. We'll talk about what's next. Obviously, I was in and out of that fight. I didn't take much damage at all, and I need to get back into the training room and continue this success and momentum. I don't want to take just any fight. I'm at a point in my career where I'm really in control, man. And like I said, I can methodically move up if a fight comes up that makes sense. Certainly, man. This is what I do for a living, what I train for. But that's my thing, man. I do need to get a roadmap put in place, and I think I can be up there pretty quick, man. I look at these guys at the top, and mentally, I see myself above them. So, like I said, man, just got to believe and keep working.
So now, given like you said that you were in and out of there really quick, and like we said at the beginning of the interview here, the fight was only about 2.5 minutes long. Do you want to get in there again, like ASAP, be in there pretty quick within the next few months here?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think before Christmas would be even cool. I need to get that figured out. I have an elk trip I have planned here this weekend. Going to be, a few days in the mountains and a couple overnight bird trips I have planned. A big hunter this time of year. I got a chocolate lab. We do a lot of upland hunting, a lot of bird hunting. So we can get him out, chase some of those, and hopefully get some meat for the freezer this year on this elk trip I'm about to go on. But listen, man, as soon as they call and they come up with some kind of game plan, um, I'm not opposed. Like I said, this is what I do for a living. So I'm not just going to take any fight, but if it's the right fight and it makes sense, sure, let's do it.
All right, Dustin. So we talked a lot about the fight and the moments afterwards, but I actually now want to go and actually go right to the beginning before the fight, only because when we were talking about your contender series, when you were talking about how excited you were for this opportunity and be fighting for a UFC contract, how bad you wanted it. And you said you kind of had like a little bit of like an adrenaline dump in like the third round of your contender series fight, like the whole day leading up to it. You're shadow boxing the whole day. What was this like? Did you have those same type of nerves and adrenaline throughout the day? Or were you a little bit more calm and cool, collective before your first UFC fight?
I was incredibly calm, cool, and collected, man. I can say that loud and proud. The first fight, there was so much on the line. I was real emotional. I had been such a long journey. I'm fighting a tough, bigger, grittier guy, and a guy that just wants to take me down. So it's like I was a little worried I wasn't able to showcase my full skill, but in the end, I did. I showed how much I've improved, and I was going out there to finish the fight. Like Dana wants to see finishes, and this fight, man, I was just more, like I said, patient, methodical, precise. I waited for my moment. I struck when I was supposed to strike, and I think I nailed it, man. I pitched I hit a walk off. I don't know, man. I did great, and I'm extremely proud of my effort and the execution that my team and I did that night.
Awesome, man. Dustin, it's always great talking to you. Before you head out, plug your social media management sponsors or anything that you feel like you didn't get to discuss. Please feel free to do all of that now if you'd like.
Yeah, I'd like to thank my team at Iridium Sports Agency. Those guys are the best in the business, hands down. Do absolutely everything for me. My team at Factory X, Mark Montoya and every other coach we have, and Landau Performance, a great gym, great, strength conditioning facility and team just to be around, man. I'm in a really good spot. Revivid Sport, CBD, Revivid Sport, man, a company I've wanted to be with for a while now, and they got me on board, and because I believe in their product. Their product's always been the best. I've always used their product, and now I get to be a part of the team and help be an ambassador for their brand. So that's it, man. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, the Hanyak DJ. Yeah, man, I got my blue check mark on Instagram, so that was pretty cool. Got the official killer, I guess.
All right, Dustin, thanks for the time. Be good. Enjoy that hunting trip you have planned there, and hopefully we'll be talking again here soon in the future. Again, like I said, I always enjoy talking to you. You just tell by talking to you how real of a fighter that you actually are there. So again, thanks, Dustin. Appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody out there who's been watching all of these interviews. And just as always, I like to remind everybody, subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can see more interviews like this, and keep going to My MMA News. We have a lot of great content coming out there. We'll see you later, everybody.